Yo, what's up, everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and oh my, I'm pretty much speechless after today. I really can't believe it. I woke up this morning before the normal market hours started. It was just after hours, and then also the gains from Thursday as well. And we had some pretty solid gains. I actually hit the 100K marker a little bit earlier in this morning, and then when I did the video, I was just a tiny bit under 100K. But as of now, at the end of the day, we're past after hours. It's a little over 6 p.m. right now. I have made the craziest gains that I've ever had in the stock market since I began investing back in December, early December. So I actually got one of the best stock market days I've ever had just a few days ago. I kind of like broke that milestone record like just a few days ago. And then today as well, I'm pretty sure I got double my previous record. So my previous record was like $3,500 in gains in one day. And then today, as you can see, we're already over double that. We're at like 8,700 right now. We're at 6,814 for today, which is 7.05%. And then in after hours as well, we're at plus 1.72% or plus $1,784. So to see this right now, it's just so crazy to me because I've had some solid days where my portfolio has gained like 3 to 4%. That's honestly a really big deal for your portfolio to gain like 3 to 4%, especially if you have a pretty significant amount of money in your portfolio. Yes, it's not too difficult for a singular stock to be up that much in one day, but for your portfolio to do that well, you pretty much have to be really concentrated or almost all in on just one stock. And that's honestly one of the few ways to do it. Some people may be a little bit lucky with a larger range in terms of their stock portfolio, like a little bit more diversified and somehow them making like 3 to 4 or 4 to 5% in one day. But that's a pretty rare occasion. And one of the reasons that I've been able to gain this much in one day is because of the strategy that I like to mention in my videos, which is concentration rather than diversification. And keep in mind, as I always say, nothing that I say in this video is to be considered financial advice. This is me just simply sharing my thoughts and opinions about the market and my mindset behind things. But like I mentioned earlier, if you aren't familiar, concentration is basically where an investor says, okay, I want to really focus on doing some really in-depth research for stocks, make sure that I'm very confident in the choices that I've made, and only buy a small number of stocks, such as like 3 to 5 stocks. And I know that there's a lot of investors out there in the stock market, and you're probably familiar with these individuals as well. You actually may be one of them, and keep in mind, I'm not dissing or going against someone that does have a diversification strategy. I think that's an excellent strategy as well, but I've just personally found that concentration fits my risk tolerance, and I'm really confident in these 3 main stocks. So, like I said, concentration is when you focus on a small number of stocks for your portfolio, and with that comes the higher potential for growth. So, for example, my 3 main stocks are Microsoft, Tesla, and Apple. HLX is just a free stock, so I don't count it. I didn't purchase it myself. But as of right now, Microsoft and Tesla take up a little over like 40% each, and then Apple takes up some percentage as well. But the good thing about concentration, like I said, is that you can really grow your wealth significantly compared to simply slowly growing your wealth or maintaining your wealth with diversification, which is commonly recommended by Warren Buffett. But also keep in mind that Warren Buffett has emphasized that concentration is a very effective strategy to grow your money as well. So it all depends. People like Warren Buffett can't really afford to focus on concentration because they manage big funds like Berkshire Hathaway. So when other people's money is on the line, obviously you can't have as high of a risk tolerance. And of course, when you're starting out smaller, it's easier to concentrate and you don't risk as much. But like I said, that's my strategy with investing. So for example, you have Tesla stock, which is up a crazy like 17% for today in the after hours. And then you have Apple and Microsoft, which both performed very well also. They're both over 2% for today. So every single stock in my portfolio was green today. They were all really good performers. And with Tesla being like 44% of my portfolio, like 46% of my portfolio, it takes up a good amount with that concentration strategy, and it influences my total portfolio growth much more as well. But keep in mind that this can go in the other way as well. So if you make a bad stock decision, a bad stock choice, then there's the potential of you maybe losing 17% in one day, and that's definitely a big deal when a stock could take up like 40 to 45% of your portfolio. So it would have a big negative impact on your daily portfolio loss for that day if you did make a bad stock choice or if you were just unlucky for that day. So with that strategy, keep in mind that it's not always good days. I've had a lot of red days as well where I've been down like over $2,000 to $3,000. At some point, I was down like $5,000 in one day. But like I said, with that concentration strategy, when there is a negative day, you're obviously going to go down maybe a little bit more than your typical index or ETF like VOO. But the good thing is if you've picked a high quality long-term stock, then the general trend is upwards in the long term, and there's a lot more potential for you to make more money. And that's one of the main reasons why I only own 3 main stocks, because I can have days like today where I make like 8.7% in just one day. And that's definitely a huge deal when you have like $100,000 portfolio and you're making like 8% off of that. That's almost like $10,000 in one day. So I'm really excited to see how this concentration strategy works in the future. But just with today, all I'm saying is that I hope all of you all made some good money today. I hope that a lot of you invested in Tesla just a while back. I want to see all my homies eating good. I try to give you all some good information on the stocks that I believe in. Like I always say, I'm not a person that gives out financial advice, and I don't want anyone to consider it that. But I am a person that likes to provide information that you all as viewers can look more in depth on it and kind of check it out for yourself and see if that fits with what you're looking for and if you're confident in a stock with information like that. So all I'm here to do is give some valuable information, hopefully information that may be useful to you all. It's never to be considered as financial advice. You always have to do your own due diligence. But that's one of the goals with my channel, is not only to share my journey and my progress as an investor and starting out investing like 7 months ago, but I also want to help other people as well, because I've learned a lot in those 7 months. I started Robinhood 7 months ago, but I technically started investing like through my bank like back in last October, and I've learned a lot of lessons with that. I've learned that investing in Robinhood and just online brokers with you as the investor and you controlling your own funds, rather than having like a quote financial advisor at your bank controlling your funds where you have to call them up and it takes forever for them to do stuff with it. I've really learned a lot of lessons on that, and I've found obviously that Robinhood is a much better option than doing that. And I've learned a lot about investing along the way when it comes to this concentration strategy. I've had experience investing in ETFs and really just learned what I want to get out of the stock market. And I've also learned a lot about some really valuable lessons of trying to keep your emotions separated from the stock market, because that's something that I feel like I do really well. I'm able to keep my emotions separated from what's happening in the stock market, and I feel like that strategy and that mindset and that mental fortitude has really helped me enable my potential and not to stress out. For one thing, you don't stress out as much as a lot of other investors do. I don't stress out about the stock market at all. I just look at the stocks every day and get excited when it's a green day, and when it's a red day, I look at it as an opportunity. So I think that's another crucial aspect as well to investing, is to know and learn how to separate your emotions from the market. And when you're able to do that, you're able to look at things with a much clearer head and a much clearer mind, and you're able to really do your research and understand what is happening with various stocks and companies. And I think a lot of that contributes to my investment in Tesla as well. There's so many people out there that talk down on Tesla stock, but if it wasn't for my own mental fortitude and separating my emotions from the market and having my own confidence in this stock, because I did a lot of research on it and I have confidence because of that research and because I know I did my homework. Because of that, I've been able to learn to ignore those other people that are shouting that Tesla stock is a bubble and that Tesla stock is a joke and that it doesn't make sense, the valuation doesn't make sense. And it has really helped me just be able to ignore those people, because I know they're wrong about that. I've done my homework, and these people are over here just shouting and angry because they either shorted the stock and thought it was going to go down in the future and missed out on tons of gains, or they somehow just don't like Elon Musk or the company for whatever reason. And then also you have people that are just on the sidelines right now that are really jealous of us investors in Tesla that are making tons of money right now. And we've been preaching this for months and months now. The writing has been on the wall about Tesla for such a long time, and people have been telling us that we were wrong and denying the information that we've been giving them. So at this point, the Tesla bears and the people that don't believe in Tesla stock and talk down to Tesla investors, that is just willful ignorance in my opinion, because at this point, there's been so much information online, awesome content with Solving the Money Problem, Chicken Genius Singapore. You have Hyperchange, Jeremy from Financial Education, and not to brag on myself or anything, but I also feel like I've been providing a lot of valuable content and information around Tesla as well. So with that being said, like I mentioned, the writing has been on the wall. The information has been available, and it's been available to everyone. So at this point, for the people that are just willfully ignorant and denying what is actually happening and the potential in the future, that's more their problem, in my opinion. And as a Tesla bull and a Tesla investor, you have to learn to ignore bad advice from people. And that doesn't even have to go along with stock market investing. If someone were to ask me what one of the best pieces of advice I've ever learned for myself was, and I've just learned this from experience, I would probably say one of the best pieces of advice that I could give in life, and keep in mind, this is not financial advice, this is just a general life lesson that I've learned personally. One of the best pieces of advice I've learned just through experience is to know when to ignore other people's advice, because a lot of the times your gut instincts are correct. Now, obviously it does depend on the person, but I've learned for me personally that sometimes I need to just trust my own gut instincts and ignore what other people tell me, because most of the time when I trust what I think is correct, it's correct, and I end up being successful because of that. But like I said, keep in mind there's other people out there that can really benefit from advice and stuff like that. But I've learned when to trust myself, to where if someone tells me advice that I don't think is something I should follow or listen to, I've learned to just go with my gut instinct and choose to ignore that advice. And I think that's helped me with not only just life in general, but it's applicable to Tesla stock as well for me. And like I said, keep in mind, this isn't advice for you all. This is just advice that I've learned for me personally. So like I said, I do think that applies to Tesla stock as well. You have to ignore the people shouting on the sidelines that are angry because the stock price is going up and they're calling it a bubble. And as a Tesla investor and someone that understands the potential for this company in the future, I've just learned to ignore them, because I know I've done my homework, and I'm confident enough to ignore the person that is doubting me. So with that being said, I always like to provide some unique perspectives and things like that with these portfolio updates and just me talking about Tesla stock and stuff like that. So if you do find this content valuable, if I do mention some things that you think are valuable in terms of just success in the stock market, then please make sure to smash that like button. I really do appreciate it. But I hope that's one of the things that I'm able to do with my channel, is to at least give some good information that you all can think about and process for yourself. And maybe it may help you, but like I said, it's not to be considered advice. It is me just sharing my perspectives about everything, and I just hope that that is somehow helpful for you all. So with all of that being said, and the crazy gains that we've seen today, we'll go ahead and break down the individual gains for each stock specifically. So we'll go ahead and start off with Microsoft stock. As you can see, for today's return, we're at plus 2.18% or plus $876 about it. So we're at around plus 23% in total for Microsoft, which is about plus $7,676. So really good solid gains for Microsoft so far. I'm definitely happy about this one. It's probably my slowest grower, but I'm really confident in this one in the long term, because as we know with some stocks, if they grow super fast, then they may end up plateauing for a while. So I would rather just see some really steady growth with Microsoft and not go too crazy. Obviously, I would be happy about a crazy day, but the steady growth shows to me that it's just going to be really consistent, as always with Microsoft, hopefully. So next up, we have the crazy one, the one all of you all are interested in, I know, which is Tesla stock. So today we are up a whopping 18.06%, which is absolutely so crazy. I can't even believe it went up this much in one day, and I gained $7,424 about it for today, which is absolutely crazy for an individual stock. And considering that it went up 18%, it's just so crazy to me. I'm definitely excited about this, and to imagine that Tesla's already over $1,400 is crazy. I think it's well deserved as long as you're in it for the long term. There could be a pullback sometime soon for sure, but as long as you have the long-term perspective and are willing to hold this stock for a long time, I feel like even at the $1,400 price tag, it's still a solid buy. But that is only in the case that you're willing to hold it for the long term. This isn't just something you can jump into and expect to make a lot of money in the short term. Of course, you could get lucky with that, but I really wouldn't gamble on just the short-term play. I think Tesla is more of a long-term play, and that's why a lot of people are buying it. I think this is one of those stocks that I could hold until retirement and expect it to do very well for me. So as you can see, for the total return, we're at plus 70.15% or plus $20,000. I can't even believe I just looked at that number and it said $20,000, because I did not expect it to be that much. That's crazy. But finally, we have Apple stock, which is up 2.74% today. This is kind of an underrated movement, because 3% in one day is a really good day, and Tesla is kind of just overshadowing that. But I really want to emphasize that 3% is a really good day. This is about 3%. So we're about at plus $420, and then in total we're at plus 30.83% or plus $3,702. So a fantastic day for Apple as well. Every single stock in my portfolio did very well today, so I'm super satisfied with everything. But anyways, I just want to share this transparency update with you all. I'm definitely excited to see what happens in the future with Tesla stock. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure to smash that like button, and also feel free to sign up to Robinhood and Webull with my referral links in the description. If you sign up with those links, then we'll both get some free stocks, and it also supports the channel, so I appreciate it. But thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and stay safe out there.